All right, we have some breaking news here on the 49ers Report, and for the second time this weekend, I'm in golf attire, but right now I'm actually on the golf course as we're reacting to this news. According to Ian Rapoport, Adam Schefter, Deebo Samuel has signed a contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers. It has finally gotten done. Now, reacting to this at the turn right after the 9th hole, this is why you subscribe to the channel, no matter where I am, bringing you the best 49ers news and rumors as well as breaking news. A couple of different figures out there, which is important to note. Ian Rapoport had one figure, Adam Schefter with the other. Rapoport has had a couple of follow-up tweets, though, so let's go with him. He tweeted this just moments ago. 49ers and star weapon wide receiver Deebo Samuel worked for months, and they got the contract done. It's going to be very similar to what DK Metcalf signed with the Seattle Seahawks, a 3-year extension worth $73.5 million in max money and $71.5 total. The guarantee is $58+ million. He's going to be 29 years old, entering the final year of his deal with the potential for another massive one. Now, I want to hear from you in the comment section right now, because this has been a relationship that seemed great going into the NFC Championship game, and then it hit this contentious point following the NFC title game. Deebo Samuel deleted everything 49ers from a social media page, and then he requested the trade, and for months we weren't sure what was going to happen and what the relationship was between San Francisco and Deebo. Now that the deal is done, what do you think about it? Give me a Y for yes, you like it, and for you don't like it. Chime into the comment section right now. This is, of course, important for multiple reasons, and I had a feeling that this is going to happen at some point on Sunday, because Monday is a very important point for the 49ers practice schedule and training camp. For the first time on Monday at the SAP Performance Center in Santa Clara, pads will be on for both the offense as well as the defense. And up to this point, Trey Lance has played pretty well in practice. He's had his ups and downs. He's made a couple of stupid throws with the gifted athleticism and the strong arm, but as we've talked about, the inexperience has also reared its head, and that has shown up on the practice field as he's thrown a couple of ill-advised interceptions, not deciphering the coverage, and he's thrown it to a couple of defenders. But now, starting on Monday, when the pads come on, the defense has had the advantage up to this point. Now Deebo Samuel, instead of being on the side field doing some sprints and doing some mobility, just getting that stamina up and keeping it where it needs to be, he's actually going to be on the field for the first time. So we're going to get a true look what this Niners offense looks like with Deebo Samuel back, Trent Williams soon to come back. He did have a kid, that's why he was out for the first couple of practices. Mike McGlinchey is ramping up as well. So really, the full semblance of the Niners offense, outside of a couple of holes on the offensive line, will be practicing together for the first time on Monday. And you have a young quarterback right now in Trey Lance, who is drafted number 3 overall, and you exhausted so much draft capital for him. You're moving forward with him, and unless he just, shits the bed and just performs really poorly throughout training camp in the preseason. But the point here being is that Trey Lance is going to be the team's starting quarterback, and as a very young and inexperienced guy who had one full season of experience at the FCS level and only played one game in 2020 because of a COVID-shortened season, he needs his best players around him to maximize his talent. And for Trey, I think it's really important for Kyle Shanahan to not put too much on his plate early on because of the lack of experience. And you have the luxury of doing that with the way that this roster and organization is constructed. They have one of the deepest defensive lines in the league, one of the best linebacking cores. Charvarius Ward has been a standout as a number 1 cornerback on this team. Emmanuel Mosley playing really well. You have a spotty offensive line, but for Kyle Shanahan, his specialty is the ground game and finding ways to produce explosive plays through the ground. And if you're able to really have all of those elements working for your team, it's not like Lance has to throw the football 30, 40, 50 times in a game. And if he has to do that, that's not the recipe for success for a guy who's entering the first full season as a starter in the NFL, on top of the fact that he's lacking that experience. And that segues to this with Deebo Samuel. He's going to be used at points as a running back because you have to maximize his abilities and you have to maximize the offense's potential. And with Deebo, he allows you to do that as a wide receiver and a running back. But you can draw up and scheme up very easy plays for Deebo, whether it be reverses, whether it be handoffs, the power pitches and quick pitches that gets him out to the perimeter, bubble screens. he is able to just be a magician with the football in his hands and make plays happen. And again, that eases the burden of the pressure and the weight on Trey Lance's shoulders. So to get this deal done and to repair the relationship over the last couple of months, it's integral for this football team. And I'm interested to see what type of specific role Deebo Samuel is going to occupy this upcoming season, given that there were some reports that he didn't want to be used as a running back. And that's understandable. He plays a very physical style of football. He is a very downhill runner who craves contact, and his NFL career probably won't last as long if he's mostly playing running back. He wants to be paid like a wide receiver and wants to play wide receiver, and the market has exploded this offseason, and now he finally has that deal that he was seeking. And like I said, very similar to DK Metcalf. As far as the contract and what I think of it, I think it's a pretty solid deal for San Francisco. Keep in mind that all of these dollar figures are astronomical, and they look just so large when you first see them on paper. But the salary cap is going to continue to rise in the NFL. The Amazon TV deal is hitting. The salary cap has risen the last couple of years, and that's going to continue to be the case. So this contract now might look a lot more expensive than it is in a couple of years when you average out that average annual value if Deebo's able to stay healthy and give you that level of production that he was able to give this team last year. Now, of course, there are some concerns with it because he's missed games every single season. He's been in the league since getting drafted in the second round of that same draft class as Nick Bosa out of South Carolina. But when he's right, when he's on the field, he is one of the most impactful, most special, and most unique players in the NFL. And there's not going to be a bunch of long-term back-end years that could prohibit San Francisco's roster building if this contract doesn't work out, because it is a short-term deal. So again, this is why you subscribe to the channel. This is the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. We're north of 60,000 subscribers, and whether I'm at the Chat Sports studios, if I'm on the golf course, wherever I am, we're doing our best to bring you the best Niners content, and I do value your responses. So I certainly want to hear from all of you in the comment section right now, and just let me know your thoughts on this Deebo Samuel contract extension. It comes at an opportune time with San Francisco taking the practice field tomorrow. There was an off day today, and up to this point, he really hasn't done much in these training camp practices other than just stay on the side field because he's trying to conserve his body. He's trying to avoid injury. But now there's no excuse for why Deebo can't be on the practice field. He signed this contract. He has that financial security. He was in a predicament, right? Going into the final year of his rookie deal, $3.9 million as the base salary, and that's not a lot of money for a professional athlete when you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars per year on your body for recovery, and it's not a lot of money for a guy who has some question marks with his durability. And then given the style that he plays, how long is he going to be able to stay at his peak? And he wanted that financial security so that he could continue doing what he's doing in San Francisco, able to get that deal done today. Will, we good to that mark? All right, my man Will Scott behind the scenes holding the camera here, golfing with his uncle and his buddy. We're having a great time on the golf course out here in Frisco. This is where the San Francisco 49ers took down the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card round. I had people walk by and say that Deebo isn't all that good. He's going to prove to the haters and the Cowboy fans here that he is all that, and he's going to live up to that payday. Subscribe to the channel. This is the 49ers Report signing off because we have to finish our round.